Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 100 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I know some of you are thinking that this is like the last episode or something. Don't worry, it's not. I still have a little bit more I'd like to get accomplished and done before we wrap up this season. So we will be continuing beyond this episode, don't worry. So the last couple episodes I've been working on this nifty bee room. The main purpose of this room that I started with was so that I could start getting some diamonds because I am desperately low on diamonds. I ran through 64 stacks of gravel and got a whole total of 0 diamonds. I got 5 gold nuggets, so that's cool. But yeah, I quickly discovered that this little guy really is not going to help me get diamonds. It's just not. So, that in mind, I decided let's go for broke and do bees. So bees can get you a lot of different resources, a lot of different nifty stuff. Plus, it's a lot of fun to play with them. So I really want to get to it, and I've had a lot of people asking recently, hey Dyer, when are you going to get to bees? We haven't seen you do it in a while, and there's a lot of people who just would like to learn how it works. So I decided to do it, and guess what? Between last episode and this one, I did a little bit more breeding, and I got myself the Diamante Queen. Nice. So this is the one that produces, every so often, a little diamond shard. And those diamond shards, if you combine 9 of them together, you'll get a diamond. Now to get this queen, I had already gotten the austere. You saw that last episode. Then I needed to get Arc, which was Imperial, which I already had, plus Plum Bum, which is a lead-based bee. It produces lead. And that needed Stanum, which is a tin bee. So I worked all the way up there. I think I've got a couple extras. I've got the Plum Bum here and the Stanum hybrid. So, that was part of the process of getting it. So there was a couple bees. The real nuisance about these bees, by the way, is if we take a look at the Auric drone, for example. I don't know if I have one that can really demonstrate how much of a pain in the butt these were to do. Here's the problem with these bees. They only have a fertility level of 1, which means that they only ever produce 1 drone. So you'll notice that I'm actually not producing any extra Diamante bees because the Diamante princess is the same way. She's also got a fertility level of 1, which is pretty much meaning that she's never going to produce more than 1 drone, which means every time we get a drone from her, it's used up with the princess to get a new bee. Oh, cool, I just got a diamond shard from her. Nice. So far, I've collected about 8 diamond shards, and she's only been running for a little bit. Now, today's episode, because we've got this bee going and cruising, what I want to do is start working towards making her as efficient as possible so that she can produce a ton of diamonds for us. Now that we've got this process down and we've gotten the bee, the hard part's over. Now we get to have some fun playing with extra bees. So there's a whole mod called Extra Bees, which is an add-on to the bee system that exists currently. And this is where you're going to have a lot of fun building up and messing with the genetics of bees. Now, without Extra Bees, you'd have to do a lot of crossbreeding and a lot of crossing of your fingers to try and get the traits into the bees that you want. So for example, if I wanted this bee to have the fast productivity rate that the cultivated bee has, for example, I would have to breed them together and hope to keep the diamond producing aspects of the bee, but then get the fast production of stuff from the bee. And, after a while, you probably just have some really bad luck and just either lose the diamond bee altogether or have some other issues. So what I'm going to focus on today is working on extra bees so that I can take the traits of the cultivated bee, apply them to the diamond bee, and then we'll have a bee that produces diamonds even faster than they currently are. And I'm going to try and apply some other traits that might be beneficial as well. So why don't we get started taking a look at what we can do with extra bees. All right, so here goes nothing. First off, we're going to need the gene pool. This is a nifty machine that's going to be required to get what's called BNA or BDNA. And I believe we can see it in a liquid form around here somewhere, probably. Let's see, maybe not. Might not be able to see it in any eye. There it is. Liquid DNA vial. Cool. So this is a liquid, okay? Liquid DNA is pretty cool. You can get it by dropping drones or princesses into the gene pool. So we're going to check that out in a minute here. So why don't I go craft a gene pool? It's going to require a genetic machine. For that, we're going to need a basic circuit board and an APRS machine, which requires a sturdy casing. So I'm definitely going to need that. So we're going to need that genetic machine. And I know I'm going to need a few of the higher tier, so we're going to need advanced genetic machines. So I'm going to need some enhanced circuit boards too. I believe those are made in my carpenter here. So why don't I get those put together first. So basic circuit board is redstone and tin. So let's just get a bunch of that and some tin. And The advanced genetic machine is going to need bronze and redstone. Okay. I'm just going to grab it all, because I know I'm going to need a bunch of it. So, I think it was just tin in the middle, right? There we go. And that guy should start producing. Now I'm going to say about 5 of these, so I'm going to make an extra one just in case. The only problem is I don't know if they stack or not. Maybe they do. That's cool. Good. Alright, so let's get our gene pool first. So we're going to need an apiarist machine, which requires sturdy casing. So I'm going to need a bit more bronze. So while that crafts, I should be able to put this together now. I'm going to go with 5 for now. And then I can get my 5 apiarist machines, or 6, whatever. And then we'll get our genetic machines. So all I should have to do now is snag this guy. Oh wow, I ran through redstone really fast there, didn't I? There's our genetic machines. So the first one I'm going to use is the gene pool. Let's put it together. So I'm going to need just a few more tanks. There we are. Nice. So gene pool, ready to go. This guy is going to need some power, so let's get some redstone energy conduits, and maybe I'll request another stack of those. Can't believe I actually ran out. And what else will I probably need? Oh, I have a stack there. Okay, well that's cool. Let's see. Do I have any power nearby to this wall? Where's my... this guy? There we go. I have a few things here, but I don't think I have any power terribly close to here. So maybe I should get a P2P thing going too. Alright, I will get the basics set up here, and then I'll be right back to get everything put together. You know what, guys? I decided to change my mind just a little bit. Let's pick up this stuff here that I've got. I'm going to rearrange things just a little bit. I'm going to need another logistics pipe. A basic one. And that's going to go right there. Cool. And then I'm going to have the chassis pipe here. And then I'm probably going to have... put back my analyzer. Cool. And I'm loving that ability to pick things up with that thing. And then I'm going to have the B analyzer module go into here with extract mode on. Cool. That looks good. The only other thing I'm going to need then is some more fluid ducts. So should I have some of those? I've got item ducts on me, but not fluid ducts, of course. There we go. Cool. The reason I wanted to do that, believe it or not, is just to be as efficient as possible and try and keep things looking as nice as possible. And I'll show you why in a minute. So what I'm thinking then is gene pool here. How's that look, right? Let me snip through this wall real quick. I'm trying to just make this as efficient as possible. The gene pool actually needs 3 things going into it. It needs power in, it needs bees in, and it needs DNA out. So we're definitely going to want to rearrange this a little bit. Let's try and get this as nice as possible. There we go. So this could be, if I have a cover handy. Good. Put a cover here. And then I should be able to put fluid duct here so that he can pump out the DNA. Okay. We're going to need power into here. So do I have power nearby? I do. That's good. I'll have to figure out how to get it there in a nice, efficient way. Probably not terribly easy, but also not too hard. Times like this when I love having bat form. Alright, so... trying to keep this looking nice on all sides. So let's say power here. That'll do. So now we've got power going in there, we've got that, and then the last step will be the bees going in. So I think what I'll have is, I'm going to have my bee sync module, instead of going into the instead of going into here, I'm going to have it go into there. But for now, it's going to be manual. So eventually, what I'll have is how I have the drone terminus module here. I'm going to have the drone terminus module go into the gene pool eventually. But before I do that, I want to do a few other things. But as a demonstration now, what I can show you, for example, let's pick a bee that I have a ton of that I really don't need to worry about. Tropical drones. I'm going to grab all 19 of these. Now, a big deal with bees, you get more DNA if you've analyzed it before you throw it in here. So go ahead and get your beealyzer. Make sure to analyze your bees before you throw them in here. And that's why I wanted to have the analyzer here. I wanted to make sure that step 1, analyze the bee. Step 2, toss them into the gene pool. And that's what we're going to eventually work towards. But for now, I can just throw this stack of bees in here, and it'll break them down into B and A. Cool. So what we should get is a little bit of B and A here. Now, you get a lot more from princesses than you do from drones, but obviously, you know, drones are a lot more common than princesses. You really don't want to process your princesses. You pretty much want to let them be. So let's get ourselves a tank to store this DNA in. So I'll be back in a minute, and I'll cover up this wall once I'm done with all my work. All right, guys, let's see if I wired this up properly. Right-click here, and, oh, right. I have to do this. And then this. Cool. And I guess this thing needs to actively get pulled out of. So let's grab ourselves the old pneumatic servo. And tell this guy to ignore redstone signal. There we go. Now we're talking. Load this guy up. DNA coming in. Awesome. So now we've got a tank holding liquid DNA. Very cool. I'm going to go ahead and just drill into the hole here because I think that's going to be necessary. I'll probably break this for a second. Put in my fluid duct. There we go. And that guy. And then we'll say you connect into there. Now everybody's happy. And I'll get that for the machines that are going to use DNA in just a little bit. So new addition to my tank room down here. Holding, oh yeah, some awesome liquid DNA. Ha, nice. All right, how's this thing? I think this was my honey tank. I need more honey. How are my honey drops doing? Oh, not bad. There we go. I'm gonna throw these two into the squeezer. Cool, so that's step 1. So now any DNA that gets ground up will go into that tank down there, and we're in good shape. So I'm gonna snag these other 20 tropical drones. They're already analyzed, as we can see. So, see you later, guys. Now, when it comes to the tier 3 machines, there's 3 that you're really going to want, and 1 that would be kind of nice to have. And we're going to go through the list right now. So let's take a look. We're going to want, from extra bees, the isolator, purifier, inoculator, and synthesizer. So let's start those one after another. The isolator. All right, cool. I'm going to need those advanced genetic machines, by the way. 1, 2, 3. Oh, see? Look, I ran out of diamonds. Nice. Do I have a 9th? Nice. And yeah, I could just go turn on my mining machine, but this will at least get me going. All right, cool. So those are the 4 of those that I need. So let's try that again. Isolator. That's going to be an important one. They're all important, I'm not going to lie. Inoculator. Now that, we're going to need some magma cream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, come on, blaze rods. While that's cooking, though, we're also going to need empty serum. So for this, we're going to need royal jelly. What I think I'm going to do is actually teach this to my AE system, because we're going to need these. So we might as well teach it now. So that was a big reason that we got that royal jelly. We needed it. And remember, we have our AA system set up so that the main system can pull items out of the B system. So we should be able to request serums and have no problem crafting them. Nice. Cool. I'm going to actually request just a few more of them because I'm going to need a few. All right, so inoculator should be good now. Cool. And the other thing we needed was the synthesizer. That needs a couple tanks. And then finally, we needed the purifier, right? That's the really expensive one. Not in terms of crafting, though. Well, maybe a little bit in terms of crafting, because you need gas tiers, and they can be a hassle to get sometimes, but, oh, come on, glass. Let's get that purifier. Cool. All right, let's lay these out in somewhat of an intelligible way. So, isolator, inoculator, synthesizer, and purifier. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm going to put the isolator there. Look at the massive amount of MJ that needs to be stored in these machines. It's crazy. The inoculator I'm going to place next to it, and then I'm going to have the synthesizer and purifier right next to each other. Cool. And let's sneak through the wall here for just a minute and get ready to run some stuff, because these two just need power. So the isolator here getting fully charged, the inoculator needs power. The synthesizer, though, has a tank. It needs DNA, as does the purifier. So both these two need the purifiers. So let's get a P2P tunnel and a fluid duct ready to go right here. 1, 2. And then we could probably just do that. And then where is my memory card? Shift click. And load it up. Oh, wrong one. It's this one. Shift click. Let's try that again. And load it up. There we go. Now we're getting DNA. Cool. So you can see these guys filling up. Huge amounts of energy buffers, and they also require quite a bit of power too. So we're going to want to make sure our power income is not going to struggle at all. I might, just because I want to make sure that we get lots of power coming through here, and I'm not having as much power come through these lines when I have so many of them hooked up, I might go ahead and grab a tesseract for this actually. In fact, yeah, why don't I do that? Why don't I grab a tesseract? I should maybe even have one in here ready to go. So I'm actually gonna come here, you come back here. I'm gonna steal this back, put the cable here. Oh well. And oh, there they are. Right here I'll have the tesseract. That'll be good. And we will line this up to main power. And you will receive energy only. Cool. Is that good? Lots of juice coming in? Cool. That's what I want to see. That'll just be able to transfer energy more quickly and be more efficient for us. Because that guy plugs into here directly. Oh, look at you. You're actually low on power. No wonder I'm having power issues. Where's all my power going? Energy mode, send only. All right. What are you guys up to down here that you're having trouble with power production? Man, I might need more power soon. Cool. All right, back in just a few minutes when we're ready to set this up. I'm going to try and figure out where all my power is going. All right, guys, we're back. I did poke around at my power system. It looks like I'm just dumping power all over the place. I was kind of flying around trying to find a cause for as much drain as it seems like I'm having. I think the lasers might be contributing a little bit. Some of these machines do use power even though they're not actively running or anything. So in the end, I think I'm just going to have to expand my power generation at some point soon. Anyway, back to what we're working on, which is this crazy contraption. So what do we got to do? Well, we've got to get ourselves some serums. In order to do that, though, we're going to need to use the isolator. So this is stage 1 of your process. What you can do with the isolator is you put bees in there that have traits that you want to copy. And then you need to get yourself some of the empty serums that we should have some in here, and we already taught our AA system how to make. So what we do is we put some empty serums in there. Cool. And then we find some traits that we want to copy. So one of the first ones I'm going to go with is this cultivated drone. So I'm going to grab a stack of them and I'm going to analyze them just to make sure that they're the right kind. So if we take a look in here, we'll see that these cultivated drones have a speed of fast. That means they're going to produce a lot of resources a lot faster than most of the other drones, and that's good. So that's a trait that we want to copy. So go ahead and dump your drones in here. And what you're going to wind up with is a cultivated drone getting processed, and it's going to try and drain those traits out of there. I'm going to make a few more serums while I'm at it. Where are you? Let's say 10 more. That should be fine, right? Yeah. And then we'll come back here and see what happens. So we got the first of many traits. We got fast production serum. Perfect. We got exactly what we were looking for the first time through. So I'm going to let the rest of those traits get analyzed in the isolator there, but we already got our fast production serum, which is exactly what we were going for. So I'm pretty excited about that. So how do we use it now? Well, first off, we need to synthesize some actual serum. So we've got the template for fast production, but we can't use it until we throw it in the synthesizer. And that's going to use up a combination of liquid DNA and a lot of power from our RF power system here, and it's going to slowly but surely fill up this fast production serum. And what we'll wind up with in the end is, well, you'll see it here in a moment, we'll wind up with a serum that has 1 use in it. So I'm going to get this thing filled up all the way to 16 uses. Now the downside is that every time I guess the localization is bad, but I guess 1 charge means it has 1 charge on it. And see, look at that, we're already draining power. These things use a ton of power, by the way. I don't know if it tells you on here exactly how much it's using, but trust me, it uses a lot. So we're going to want to keep that in mind. I might want to turn off a few things until I figure this out. You know what, I'll probably stop the isolator. I've got some lifespan, some flowers, pollination. I'm going to stop this guy for now just so we don't have any more power problems than we already have. But I do want a couple more traits off those cultivated bees. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. So while this thing's filling up, oh, there we go, we got 2 charges now. So the downside of the synthesizer is every time it fills up a charge, it's going to reduce the quality of the serum. And we want that to be at the top and best quality available. So in order for that to happen, we're going to need to throw it into the purifier. This will purify the quality at, again, an expense of liquid DNA and power. Now the problem is, you know, you could go ahead and just use the fast production serum as it sits right now, but trust me when I tell you it'll be a bad idea. It's not something you want to go ahead and do. So let me go, again, kind of mess around with my power system here. I might need to add some more power production just because I've got so much going on in this crazy base of mine. For now, I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so I've let this thing fill up to 11 charges. That should be sufficient for now. And you can see we're getting some energy back in our synthesizer, obviously. So let's throw in the purifier. Now this one uses even more energy, so look how fast our energy reserves are dropping here. It's crazy how much energy this purifier needs, and it's going to need to run a lot because we need to get it to the point where it's going to completely fill back up to the highest purification level. But once that's done, we'll come back and we'll get to use this serum. Alright guys, we've gotten our production serum up to excellent quality. You'll know when this is done because it comes over here and says serum already at highest quality. What's funny is some of these serums already have an excellent quality, but that's not like the best of the best. It's like 1 level below, but it still calls itself excellent. I don't know why that is, but basically wait until this thing says serum at highest quality and it stops operating before you take this thing out, and that's when you're going to be at the best stage. So the final thing here is the inoculator. This is the last machine. All you have to do is take your fully charged or whatever partially charged production serum, excellent quality is the one you want to go with, and then you're going to want to put your bee in. So I waited until my princess and drone died, and by waiting for them to die I mean I used necrotic frames. And what I want to do is make sure that you apply this to the princess and drone, not to the queen. The reason for that is if you apply it to the queen, when she dies, she might not pass on those traits to the princess and drone. But if you give it the princess and drone, it'll guarantee that all offspring will have those new traits. So in fact, why don't I analyze these guys and see where we're at. So right now they have, their speed is slowest production. So they are super slow at producing anything. But if we go ahead and charge them up with this fast production, it's going to significantly improve what they do. So let's see here. There we go. The Diamond Princess is in there. She's getting inoculated. This machine is slow and takes a while, but the good news is it doesn't, have too much trouble once you finish this up. So we'll come back in a few minutes here once this thing finishes inoculating the princess and the drone. Oh, and one more tip for you guys while we're waiting for that to happen. See how we got 2 shortest lifespan isolators in here? Go ahead and just take one of them and toss them into a furnace. And they'll cook up for you and basically destroy the contents and switch it back to an empty serum. So as you get serums that you don't want, you don't have to recraft new serum vials. Just go ahead and throw them in a furnace. Any furnace will do, vanilla furnace or redstone furnace or industrial craft, whatever, and it'll revert them to their normal state. All right, so one of these traits just got implanted. Now, the thing is, remember that there are 2 traits per princess or drone. So the inactive trait just got switched to fast. Now we have to wait for the active one to get switched. And you'll note that the bee is not going to move down to the bottom section until she's totally done. So go ahead and make sure that the Diamandi princess here is completely finish inoculated by waiting for her to drop down here. Then we're going to let the drone finish. It'll take 2 iterations. So remember, we used 1 serum charge already. So in total, you're going to need 4 charges per drone combination of princess and drone. Like I said, the inoculator, the bee will drop down here when she's done. So if we get our analyzer here, we'll note that she now has fast and fast on both the active and inactive. Now, in previous versions of Extra Bees, it was random which one it applies to. Now it'll apply to one, and then it'll always apply to the second one, so you don't have to wait for this to run like 10 times with a bad run of luck. It'll definitely only take 2 charges in order to inoculate your bee. Alright guys, looks like we just finished up our Diamandi drone. Nice. So we'll see here that this guy now has a fast speed. So does the princess. So that means all offspring will also have a fast speed. I'll go ahead and toss them back in the apiary. And I'm going to get a couple fresh sets of proven frames. I don't have a problem using those. That's probably a good thing. Now this bee will produce diamonds a lot faster than it did just a moment ago. You can see we've already got up to 4 from earlier. This guy should really be producing diamonds much faster. Now, one of our goals eventually will be to get an alveary, which is an upgraded multi-block form of apiaries. Those will produce resources even faster, and they're pretty crazy what you can do with those things. But they're multi-blocks and they require a lot of resources. So I think the other thing I'm going to do here, my cultivated bean, I'm going to go ahead and get my industrious and my imperial queen. I'm going to go ahead and kill them off real fast. Just so I can do the same thing for them. Not the tropical one, I'm not too worried about that. But I'll do the same thing here with the industrious bee, and then what we'll do is probably wrap up the episode in a moment here, and let's see, I've got 7 charges, so if I want a bit more, I'm going to have to synthesize a little bit more of this serum. So we'll let this thing fill up and synthesize. Meanwhile, I'll wait for this bee to die. Cool. Looks like she's almost there. Now, one thing I do need to focus on probably next episode. I'm thinking let's do some power gen. Obviously, I'm using a lot of power in my base, and the generation that I have at this time is not going to cut it. I have, what, 16 total? Steam dynamos at 80 RF a tick. So that seems like a lot of RF, but it's really not. So I don't want to just build another steam boiler and use more elementum. While that would be cool and pretty efficient, I want to do something new and exciting and interesting. So I have to come up with a new way to generate power, something that either I haven't done much of before or is at least cool and interesting. So I'll come up with something between this episode and next, finding out a good way to generate more power. But for now, I think we're unfortunately pretty close to that wrapping up point for the episode. So for now, this is Darryl20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed episode 100. Waiting for this bee to die. I think she already came back to life, so I'm just going to keep an eye on her for a minute. So we still have more content to get through this season. We're not wrapping up the season just yet. We still have a lot of things to do. This is Darryl20 signing off. Take it easy.